Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Beauty Authority. I'm Tatiana Bido, Director of Aesthetic Content for New Beauty. And today I'm joined by Newton Center, Massachusetts plastic surgeon, Dr. Joseph Russo. And we're talking about natural results and the rise of regenerative treatments. Hi, Dr. Russo. How are you?
Hi, Tatiana. It's good to see you again.
It's nice to see you too. Now, you've been a new beauty expert and source for years. So we really love to come to you to find out what's happening in the field. So, what are you seeing a lot of right now in aesthetics?
We're being overwhelmed by all the fallout from the GLP-1 patients. Um, it's everywhere. Everybody's doing it, and people have just lost so much weight. They've got so much extra skin on them, so we're seeing so much more body work, breast reductions, tummy tucks, arms, brachioplasties, buttocks lifts,
Mhm.
all kinds of things that we of course saw before, but not anywhere close to the numbers we're seeing now. It's really pretty dramatic.
I feel like we were talking about Ozempic face for so long, and now all of the effects of losing weight rapidly are showing up everywhere else. So, what are some of the most common procedures that people are coming in for to address this loose skin?
Well, even before that, what we're seeing now is like when you're losing all this weight, it's really important for the patients to keep their protein levels up, to make sure that whatever they're eating is rich in protein so you can continue healing. Don't lose the weight so fast. But there are also some things that we can do. We can talk about kind of at the end of it and sort of try to be preventative, saying, hey, this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to lose your hair.
Yeah.
Your skin is gonna lose collagen, it's gonna lose elastin, it's gonna lose HA, so there's things we can do for that. Your skin is gonna start to you start to sag, so we can do some body tightening things, but all these things are secondarily, we're just discovering that now about being preventative and maybe, like, saying
Yes.
to patients, "Okay, if you're gonna be on this GLP-1, these are the things that are gonna happen, and we would like to offer you a package of being preventative, be preemptive, so you don't have to maybe have surgery, whatever." But what we're seeing more than anything are tummy tucks,
Yep.
men and women, brachioplasties, mostly in women, breast reductions and breast lifts in men and women, obviously most more often with women, buttocks lifts, thigh lifts, these kinds of things, injections for, hair growth, and of course facial fillers. But people identified the Ozempic face kind of early on. So people were already kind of onto that and doing facial injections, but they didn't expect this deluge of body stuff. So that's been kind of different.
If you are considering having a body procedure and you're noticing concerns in more than one area, how do you typically address that? Let's say I am concerned with loose skin in my arms. I'm seeing loose skin around my inner thighs, and I also have loose skin on my stomach. Would that be a one-time surgery, or are you breaking it up based on patient's needs?
Yeah. I mean, if you came to us and said, "Hey, I'm starting to see all these things," we would say, "Tatiana, okay, we want to start treating it now so it doesn't get so loose that you have to have surgery. So we want to do soft wave on you. We want to do
Okay.
microneedling with radio frequency on you. We want to do VeloShape on. We want to do biostimulators on you, like sculpture and radiation and all these sort of things, just to kind of keep you, good, keep that collagen being made, get you on a high protein diet, make sure you're getting enough calories. I don't get make sure your muscle. The other that's really really important is the maintenance of muscle mass because
Yes.
when you're starving, essentially. Your body starts chewing up muscle, and your muscles, like the thing that really gives you volume. If you lose muscle and your skin gets loose, you're just in terrible shape. So things like that stimulate muscle that are, EMG stuff really help protect you in terms of not losing so much volume. So we
Like
recommend all those.
the soft wave one that you're referring to, the electromagnetic stimulation is pure impact,
Your
right?
impact, which is
And then we
tremendous.
also have BTLs
Yes.
and sculpts, but
Yes.
something like that, that if you need, supplementary assistance in
Yeah.
gaining muscle mass, you can have those treatments done.
And also, like, muscle mass is associated with longevity. Like, the more muscle you have, the longer you live, and the less you have, the shorter you live. And once you stop being able to walk and ambulate, become, move around comfortably, you start aging really, really fast. So we're discovering all these things about anti-aging that are like being like, made worse by these GLP-1s if you don't stay ahead of it. And that muscle mass is really, really important to maintain.
I love that you are talking about all of these treatments that we typically associate with facial aesthetics, right? Like soft wave and biostimulatory fillers. But it really is one way if you're not ready for surgery or if you want to prevent, having to go and get surgery so
Yeah.
quickly, you can have these treatments on your body.
Yeah. And then we also recommend not really doing anything till you get to your goal line weight, so otherwise, you might still need additional surgery if you're going to continue losing weight. So we think it should be like this weight loss should be somewhat slower. We think that you should be doing these energy based treatments, the muscle stim, even skincare products out there that really help to shrink and tighten skin. We think you should be doing all these things in conjunction with the weight loss to minimize the laxity, to minimize the muscle loss so that you maybe don't have to have surgery, because that's a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, when you're doing all the surgeries that you're mentioning, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of immobility, it's a lot of downtime, all these things that may be unnecessary if we do it the right way.
Yeah, and I think you and I started talking about all this way back 2 years ago in 2024. So now 2 years later, we have all of this knowledge, all of this experience, and I'm sure you've had thousands of patients in between that time where you're doing all of these procedures on them.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did a podcast with my former executive assistant, Angelina, and she
Yeah,
kind of chronicled her journey. Like, she was really one of the first people who thought about this. Like, "Hey, Dr. Russo, like, I don't really wanna have to have surgery. Like, is there something we can start doing now?" And she was the one that got me thinking about it, and we started
yeah,
doing these procedures on her, like, soft wave and biostimulators, and she didn't have to have surgery, and she
right.
lost over 50 pounds,
Yes. And
So it
that's
was
the dream, right?
yeah, it was
That's the
really
goal.
great. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very
So
successful.
this also speaks to the shift toward more natural results and also regenerative treatment. So we're hearing a lot of talk about regenerative treatments. What types of treatments outside of soft wave and biostimulatory fillers are you using at your practice?
So, all new kinds of things are happening right away. So PDGF, platelet-derived growth factor, is the most powerful and the only FDA-approved growth factor available in the United States, and it's really, really very, very powerful. It's gonna replace PRP and PDGF, PRF, and all these other ones because it's pure, pure, pure PDGF. In addition, to Radiesse and Sculpture, which we know are biostimulatory, there are new products out there like Alaclay, which I think we could talk a little bit about. But,
Mhm,
like, the idea is that if you look at in my mind, if you look at someone and know they've had filler, that's too much. If you look at
mhm.
someone and know they've had surgery and that's too much. If you look at someone and you feel like their lips or their eyes or their nose are too big, that's too much. Like, I think beauty is beauty because everything works, everything looks wonderful, your eyes keep moving around the person's face, and you don't stop because their lips or their eyes or whatever are too big. So, like, beauty is natural, and this is my own personal feeling. I think
Yeah.
finally the message is getting out there that less is more.
Right.
Just looking good and looking refreshed and looking like your age or better than your age is great, not looking like a morphed, human that's, like an alien trying to look human. That never that never works. So I think the message is finally resonating, and then you see someone who's beautiful, and you just think to yourself, "They just look beautiful." I don't know why, because everything is beautiful, everything works. The
Yeah.
proportions are right, the angles are right, the width and the height are right, it just looks beautiful. That's kind of it. So, Alaclay is cadaver fat. So people are like, "Oh my god, cadaver fat." Well, like, ACL tendons are from cadavers, blood transfusions from another person, corneas from another person, heart, lung transplants are from another person, kidney transplants are from another person. All these things. We've been recycling human tissue for a long time, and this is no different. But this is, I actually went down to the plant in San Antonio, Texas, where the company's based, and went through like the 60,000 square foot building that they're making just for Alaclay. And Alaclay is cadaver fat that's derived from abdominal fat and from women. They process it, and it's acellular, so you can't transmit disease. There's nothing alive in it. It's just a shell of cells, and it has some stem cells in it and growth factors that allow your own cells to differentiate into fat cells. And a year later, when you do a biopsy, it looks just like the rest of the fat around it. It becomes part of you, but it becomes fat. And in my own personal opinion, I think it may end up being permanent. But here's where it works better, I think. HA, which is, hyaluronic acid products, the Restylane products, Juvederm products have
Mhm,
been around for
mhm.
years, and I think we've kind of gotten toward the end of that era, only because, like, if you've lost fat, why are we replacing fat with HA?
Mm.
HA doesn't move like fat, it doesn't work like fat, it's not vascularized. Your face doesn't move as well when it's there because it's not supposed to be there, or at least not in the amount we're putting in there. So why not replace like with like? If we've lost fat, why not replace fat? If we've lost bone, why not replace bone? Of course, we need some HA filler, and it's really good in younger patients. In older patients, it just doesn't look good. It looks weird. It changes their face, you know?
So Alaclay, it works as a filler, right? So you would inject it into the area like you would a filler. And then does it work like our normal fat if you had a fat transfer where a certain amount of it sticks and a little bit of it dissipates after it's been injected?
Yes and no. So yes and no. So if you're gonna do a fat transfer on somebody, you have to take fat, let's say you're taking it from their abdomen. You have to do like a liposuction procedure on their abdomen in the sterile operating room technique. You have to then spin the fat down, separate the blood, separate the fluid, isolate the pure fat, and then inject the pure fat.
Mhm.
But then you can't, like, let's say you're doing a BBL, you can't sit on it for a month. And
Right.
if you do, it interferes with the blood flow, like the little vessels going into the fat to keep it alive. So yes, there's definitely a known loss, and it really the take of it depends on where you put it. Like if in the face is really, really vascularized, so the take is higher. If you do it in the body, it's lower because the blood supply isn't as good. But it's very labor intensive. It's costly. It's an operation. It's a donor
Mhm.
site with the fat out and you have to really kind of baby it for a month or so. No, as opposed to Alaclay, where you open a cabinet, you tinge, you make a little poke hole, and you inject it. Right now, this is just for the body. So we're doing breasts, we're doing hip dips, and we're doing buttocks, and we're doing areas on the legs where, like, maybe someone had a liposuction, someone took out too much, and so they had dents or whatever. So that's where it's being used. But I think in the beginning of 2027, you're going to see some it's gonna be called dermaclay, and it's gonna be a 3 cc syringe, and we're gonna inject it in the face, and again, my own personal opinion, I think it's gonna replace most fillers.
Very exciting times, very interesting. And for
Very.
somebody who does not wanna undergo liposuction and go that route with the fat transfer, it's a wonderful option, and we are hearing more and more about it in the industry as
Good.
it being used as an option, especially with breasts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, one other interesting point, this is even a little farther in the future, they're coming out with a matrix
Mhm,
that can be shaped like a breast, and they're putting the matrix in the breast, and then it's
mm.
gonna repopulate with your own fat cells. So,
So
it's
is
like
it gonna be like when you say a matrix, is it gonna be like the Galaflex a little bit, like that type of same material that the internal bra is made out of?
similar, but it's gonna be a 3D structure. Like
Got it.
Galliflow is flat and is used to like a sling and to support the
Right.
breast. This
Like
is
a
gonna
like a
actually be
handbook.
this is actually gonna be the breast. Instead of being flat, like, it's gonna
That's so fascinating.
be the breast.
Yeah, because then the tissue would form around it, that's the idea, and then over time, that
Yeah.
structure would,
Just
you
become
know,
fat. Just could become filled with
be
your own fat.
reabsorbed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh,
breast
breaking
implant.
news.
No, yeah.
You heard
Well,
it here first.
you have no idea what's going on with technology right now. Like
Yeah,
anti-aging anti-aging and longevity medicine are now meeting aesthetic medicine. These two incredible areas of scientific discovery are coming together. In fact,
right.
I was at this meeting called the A4M meeting, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, which has been around for 35 years. These are
Yes.
all people, docs that are like trying to figure out how to live longer, live better, and all this sort of stuff. And it's really blowing up right now. They asked me to be the aesthetic arm of A4M and come there and explain to practitioners who've been in anti-aging medicine how to bring aesthetic medicine into their practice because their patients are living longer, but they
Right.
want to look better. And the same thing, our patients look better, but they want to live long. So it's a natural marriage, and that's what's happened, blowing up.
I mean, it's all coming together with the use of peptides, even GLP-1s,
Yes,
functional medicine, holistic medicine. It's all part of wellness
yes,
and, like you said, longevity, but it's really interesting to see how quickly things are coming out, and then also how things have just been repackaged and labeled regenerative that have been
yes.
here forever.
Well,
Things we've had forever for 20 years is
we
it's
we
new again.
we kind of always told patients what it did, but we had no proof. You know what I mean? We,
Right.
we kind of said, "Oh, it does all this stuff," but now we actually can look at it scientifically and say, "Yeah, it does all this, and this is how and why." So it's kind of
Yeah.
been rediscovered because we now understand it. It's kind of very funny.
Yeah, but there's so much interest in it now, and I think it really speaks to why we're seeing a lot of people looking like they're aging backwards, right? If you're using your own biology to stimulate collagen, to stimulate all of the things that make us sort of look youthful and have a glow,
Yeah.
then I think that that's really helping a lot to move the needle. So I love regenerative medicine. I think it's great. I just think I also like to see behind the curtain. Like, what is it really?
Yeah. I started my talk before I even introduced myself. I said, the expectation is that everyone will live to be at least 100. The expectation is that you will never be able to tell how old someone is by looking at them. And the expectation is that we're going to live better, more peaceful, and active lives. And
Yeah.
these are the expectations that are happening right now, and we're going to fulfill it. And I was
Yeah.
talking, I was in this meeting, and they said the average life expectancy in America increases by 2.5 years every decade. So in 100 years, we gain 25 years of life expectancy. So it's the graph's kind of going like this, and getting rid of diseases, learning how to treat diseases better, people eating, all the things that we're doing now in society. And they said, but all of a sudden, like in the next few years, the graph's going to go like this, and then it's going to go like that. Everyone's gonna
Yeah.
live to be 120. Yeah, so this is already happening, and it's so exciting that I wanna go out and learn more about functional medicine. I'm thinking of taking this fellowship just because I wanna bring it into my practice. I wanna bring it to all the practices that are doing
I
this thing.
think it's the future, and you would be wise to do so because then you can come back to New Beauty and give us all of your intel. Okay, one last question, Dr. Russo.
Yep.
What are some good options that we should be looking into if we want to fine tune our bodies or just get a treatment that makes us feel more confident over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, typically this is the time of year when everyone thinks about, oh, we're going to be shedding clothes, right? So our bodies are going to be showing. And the first thing you see is the face, right? So you want to get rid of all the browns and reds. You want to do some IPLs, get rid of all the brown spots, all the red spots, hyperpigmentation. You want to get on a good skincare regimen that's got medical grade ingredients in it that actually, scientifically change your skin and make it more youthful. You want to get an incredibly good sunblock, right? Something that really protects your investment that you were just talking about. Also, this time of year where people have been sort of a little bit sedentary, liposuction or a GLP-1 program where they're losing weight. But I think also the thing I'm going to add this year is a muscle stim, like the pure impact, that sort of stuff. I'm going to start doing that myself because I just really believe in that's your engine for burning calories. That's your engine for staying young. That's your engine for longevity. So we got to really focus on that muscle mass and stay stronger. So, some body sculpting, some muscle mass maintenance, good skincare protection, and there you go.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your insights. And I know you'll be back to give me all of that wonderful intel.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, and you have just the best questions. It makes it easy for me, so I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Russo.
We'll talk soon. Bye, Tatiana.